Oh, what's going on, guys? Steve the Canadian here. Welcome back. What a month. What a year. Whatever. I'm back, and as you can see, I've been doing some things, but the main thing is that a lot of the parts that had left are now back, so we can get rolling on this thing. So as far as I'm concerned, there won't be an update video after this for quite a while, because hopefully the only videos you guys are seeing is that stuff chopped up and put back together. So if you guys are still here, thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. And we'll get into showing you what's going on with the parts over here. So as you can see here, we have not a huge amount of parts, but enough parts that we can get going on this thing. I've been doing a lot of planning, a lot of moving, a lot of things that are staying are changing, a lot of things that are there are going. But let's get into what is going on this, and then afterwards we'll get to the main thing, and it's just a beauty, it is. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so first off, because the whole premise of this machine is based off of airbags, I guess we'll go ahead and... So we went ahead and got ourselves the Gabriel Hijackers again. You guys saw me hack these up and put them on the drift trike, so they are pretty much done for. But these shocks are amazing. If you guys ever need air shocks, they have many different applications, not sponsored, but these things take a beating and they go up and down. So that's about the best review you can give an air shock, in my opinion, because if they go up and down and don't rust out and blow the bag, well, hot diggity, that's a good product. So we got another company I'll be showing you for air shocks, but we got to modify them obviously to fit the frame, but that'll be real quick. I'll probably do that off camera because you guys have a whole nother video of me doing that. So to go with that, I got this bad boy. Now if you guys don't know what this is a train horn air compressor. I don't know if that's overkill for this or not, but we're going to see. According to the PSI rate, it cuts out at 90 and 120, and that is actually the range for the bag. So it's pretty much perfect, actually. Relatively loud and relatively big. As you guys could probably saw there, that's not how it comes, like all bent up. I've actually been fitting it to the frame, but that is also where it comes into play. You guys see how big? One second. There we go. You guys see how big the air compressor is, and where it really, the only place to put it is up front, which is why that's bent like that to the front bar. But then this bastard comes in the way. So oh, there's a lot of dirt in there. So my plan, because as we go on here, you guys will see that really what's running the machine is changing in general. So this isn't going to be necessarily a functioning gas tank anymore, so much as the cover and insulation for the air compressor. So if I can quiet it down, have it inside something, still give it ventilation, I'm gold, right? So we'll bring this back in a minute as we go here, because this is actually going to come into play for quite a bit. So this is going to handle the whole system. I've watched a lot of videos. These are pretty good, apparently. Nobody has any issues. I can't remember the name, but if you just search train horn on Amazon, it comes up. It's the only all-in-one system really going out there. They go up in price every time you get them. This is one of the items when Jafar got sick that I sent back, and it was almost double when I reordered it, and that just wasn't great, but whatever. To go with that, because the bags will be in the back, I obviously have all the hoses, everything, and then a beautiful dual PSI gauge, because really now that we're going front and back, LED voltage or airbag pressure gauge. My brain's fried. It's, yeah, but so that'll look nice because we're gonna have a custom dash on the top. So once that is all put together, which will be rather fast, hooking up the air system, because I'm modifying these bags to go back on, not that long. I know where that needs to go now. So if I cut a hole in this, I can mount that, which I have to mount that before I finish the frame. Like, mind you guys probably aren't going to see a video on it, but the frame's got at least 8 hours of work left on it. And I'm going to put that 8 hours of work in at the end, because obviously I want to get shit mounted first, but it still has quite a bit of work to make sure that you guys don't watch me flop face first. So air compressor system, bags, I'll show you guys the other bags, basically handled. So we will move on to why this is changing. So for a carburetor, you guys, if you read that, like, they'll fool you. You're getting yourself a Mikuni carburetor. This is Mikuni carburetor, but 32 millimeter race carburetor. All the reviews are rather positive on this for it being, I guess, a knockoff. But I mean, the housing is nice. All the material, although not refined, some gas in it actually, quite nice. So I don't even know if I'd have to review this when I put it on, because I mean, everybody just says that these are great. But the 32 millimeter is needed because there's going to be a lot of volume going. So you guys check that out. It's actually not bad, right? It looks cheap, but not. And that's a weird thing to say. But again, everybody raves for those. They work great. Just your regular fuel petcock. I'm not going to need it. So if that's a hint. So this will just go on the shelf. For that carburetor, I went ahead and I ordered, I'm going to give you guys a close-up here. This here is for a Honda GX390 generator. And this is a propane conversion kit. So you got your low pressure gas, natural gas. And at first I was questioning using just this carburetor itself, because actually you can go up to 290 cc's apparently with this carburetor, but it just seems so small, right? Like, this is a 250 cc engine and it requires a carb like this size. Yeah. So just basically looking at what makes the propane part of it tick, taking off the bottom part and then having the propane run into the intake just before the carburetor is going to do the exact same thing. And the only thing this bottom line is for is to drain your fuel out when you want to run propane. So yeah, so she'll be efficient, I guess. No, it won't be efficient in any way. If you work out the math, one of those little green, I'm pointing at it like you guys can see it, one of those little green camping bottles will probably run this thing for like 3 hours. So that's not bad. Now you carry 2 or 3 of those on your in your bag and you got a whole day on propane. So that's a definite. And like, this stuff isn't even that outlandish. I haven't seen anyone else do it, and everyone else that does do it, and I hate to like really question people, but everybody else that propane converts like ATVs and stuff just puts like tubes together and valves. It's like, why not just get something made for it and then use it? So yeah, that was my thought on that. So this thing, propane, racing carburetor. I guess that doesn't answer the racing carburetor portion of it. So the reason it needs the racing carburetor is this bastard. So again, this falls in the category, oh, it's all dirty. This falls in the category of the air compressor of it went back and then just was not a pleasant thing to repurchase, because apparently these have become quite popular in the old ATV world. But yeah, so this is a little whirly burly. You guys can see there's the exhaust side, and there is the, I'll put the number up there so you guys can see it. Got yourself a BFO 80321070. Yeah, for ATVs, side-by-sides, and sleds. So this is good for up to 2 and 300 cc engines, I believe it says. It is a max speeding rod. I can't even remember the number. The number you will see on the website is not the BFO website or on Amazon. So, Whirlybird. Yeah, and this is actually, if you guys can see this, roughly where it's going to go in the frame. So to be at the back of the frame, above the motor, I am doing an exhaust mounted turbo. I don't know. Okay, to be real, guys, I have seen, just remembered I didn't cover what the whole propane part was, but we moved on. So I always see everybody slap the carburetor on the outside of the turbo for a draw through. And I don't understand that system myself. You don't see that system on cars. You don't see that system really applied anywhere else. I get the premise that the machine maybe doesn't have enough compression, so you want to suck fuel through to mix into the turbo. But to me, that just doesn't even sound good, mixing your fuel and air and everything in the turbo. So yeah, my brain can't get past that. And the best way in my mind would be to obviously have the carburetor off the motor and then the turbo run to the carburetor. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. So the carburetor will be directly off the side of the motor with the propane conversion kit, and the turbo will be directly at the back. So I say exhaust mounted as if this isn't an exhaust mounted turbo, but I'm not mounting it directly at the front of the motor, because if I did that, I would run out of room for other party favors up there. So perfect spot, nothing gets used. The turbo will literally, this is actually how it's gonna sit. I don't think I can clock this turbo. I haven't checked yet, but it does not look like I can. So, but that's fine. This is actually where the muffler sits. So if the muffler sits here, that'll sit here. I just got to make brackets for it. Yeah. So as you guys can see, this thing gets more ridiculous as we go, and it's not by choice. It is by choice. But yeah, so instead of 35 horsepower, 32 horsepower, man, this thing's going to make like 33 and a half. You guys wait until, because I got another single digital gauge coming for the boost, and you guys just wait and see. When that number hits up to like 1.2 bar, this thing is gonna be flying. It's a joke. The other day, my buddy, when I had the garage open, came by, and he came walking in, and he's like laughing at that. And it's like, I get that, because you know, even with the turbo and the propane, this thing is not going to be like well, actually, like the acceleration will probably drastically increase, but we're limited by the old Suzuki gearbox here, which is not really built for speed. It's built for power, you know what I mean? So I'll get up a hill a lot faster. Just I won't be any faster off after that. Yeah. So with that, I ordered the whole flange kit. These are nice too. Actually, I haven't pulled these out of the bag yet. Oh damn, some nice machining. Again, this is for the exhaust side. Let me see if, oh yeah, see, look at that machining. If I can, I'll get the company for this as well. This was a different company, but it's offered with the turbo when you go to get it. Yeah, and it's basically needed. I see a lot of people make them. I do not, unfortunately, have the machinery or equipment yet to be making things like this in time. But for now, a lot of specialty stuff is order. Yeah, bought, not made, and that's fine. I'm fine with that for now. Throttle cable for that bastard. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's really it. So as you guys can see, like I said, there's not a lot going on. But if you were to just hand this to a random person and say, make it work, there's a lot going on, right? So every time I come back to you guys, I have another fucking project. And we haven't even gotten to the major ones yet. So, because this isn't the major stuff. This is all like, you're putting sprinkles on the fucking cake before you put the fancy stuff. So we'll just cover this real quick about the propane and this. So the front half, I've already been doing measuring of the tank compared to the parts. The front half will work good where it will just cover the compressor. I can insulate it, and then the compressor will sit up here. Now, this is where I should have been prepared again, but thanks to some microphonage, you guys can hear me anyways. I guess. I hope you guys can still hear me. If I have to reshoot this again. Whew. So, one of these bastards right here. Nice, convenient, not that cheap anymore nowadays, but I bought a lot of them years ago and never used them. So, bam. You guys see that right there? It's an idea, because it's running on propane anyways, right? And the propane carburetor will be on the right side of the machine, which is would make this is the left side of the tank, so that would make it there. And if I just cut basically a nice access door, you know, make it look nice, because people are still going to be able to see the tank from the outside, the way the bodywork's going to be. And where the bar hits is just where it bends, so I'll be able to make a little door access to, and then have, I'm thinking just like PVC, a good thick PVC pipe of this size in there, and then slide this in there and screw it in. Obviously, I'll work that out when I get there, but that's the idea. My only worry is I'm not sure if these should be ran sideways. So if they shouldn't be run sideways, because I haven't looked into it yet, and that could literally just be I have to read the fucking thing, it'll just be going up in this way. And it won't 100% be covered by the tank, but I won't 100% care, because you still won't really be able to see it from the bottom when it's up in there. So in that regard, it'll just be cool that it'll be a hidden propane system on the machine. So yeah, no gas running on that. And later on, stop me if you think I'm dumb. Just had to throw a nail. Later on, a hydrogen system. Again, ridiculous, but not that ridiculous if you look into hydrogen systems. So once this actually runs, because all I'm doing is giving you guys a list of shit I'm going to do, once these actually run, that'll be, hopefully I'll have a different project at that point, and then I can come back to doing something like that. Because that's getting into science. This is just standard stuff, you know what I mean? Oh, one last thing. These Mighty Max batteries, not as good as you would think, not as powerful as they say they are. I should have got the size up. This size is not as powerful as they say it should be for this size, but it's conveniently the right size for my Honda three-wheeler battery box. I think I could get the next size up and it might fit, but I need to fit 3 of these on this. So I need a 48 or a 24 volt system and a 12 volt system. So 3 of these, 2 hooked up together, 1 simply to power up the dashboard and light everything up. And yeah, that's pretty much it for these parts, guys. So I'm going to adjust the camera, and then we are going to have a look at what's going on with the front end, because I'm excited for the front end, guys. Believe me, I am excited, but terrified to actually start doing what I think I need to do here. So just to throw it in real quick, because I forgot to mention it in the last part, there will still be a small gas tank on this machine, just in case. So it doesn't matter how many things you have on it, you don't want to get stranded. So yeah, there'll still be, it'll be propane, gas, electric, all that jazz. Now back to the other one. All right, guys, so here you can see what we got going on with the front end. And let me explain to you what I'm excited about here. So as you guys can see, the whole airbagged front end issue is 75% solved. And I say 75% because this is only the design in which I'll be going with to finish this off. So, right off the bat, without that falling, let's cover what we got going here. So these Look at these cute little guys, eh? That's not even, it can go a little more. These are Monroe air shocks meant for a motorcycle. I believe they are meant for a Harley Davidson, but they are knockoffs, so they do not say any brand name of Harley Davidson or anything. And I've already aired them up once, and they're silky smooth. But the problem with the Gabriels, as you guys saw, is they're too big, non-modifiable to fit even something like this. So I got these, and they were more expensive than the Gabriels, and that was kind of ridiculous. So I've really been taking care of these bastards. So what we have here to go over this is the GoPowersports.com. Not a sponsor, but I might as well shout them out because they got anything go-kart mini bike related in general. You want it, they got it. And shout out to Heritage Restoration Works, because if you've gone over and checked out his mini bike build, which is not necessarily, actually, in his more recent videos, it is a lot smaller than it looks in his initial video, but it's still a pretty big mini bike. But at the very same token, seeing what he built in a place where he can manufacture a cool design that comes to his head, I searched it up and I went ahead and bought it because, as said, I don't have yet the setup to build something like this accurately. I could build this, doesn't mean it's going to be nice looking. You know what I mean? So I would rather have just paid someone in my mind, it was a decent price. It was about $260 Canadian. No, $260 American. Can I tell you guys the truth? Came to about $400 after customs to get this front end right here into the country. And that's kind of heart-wrenching considering what I want and need to do with it. So I'm going to throw on the shock that comes with it. This shock here, the white ones, these beautiful ones, these are what come with the front end from GoPowersports.com. Yeah, really fuck. Between the shocks and the front end, I probably got about $600 in here. I'm not lying. Like these, the air shocks, and then the leading link front end. It's about $600 for what you guys see here. So if you think what I'm about to tell you is ridiculous, it is. In order to make this work with this, because I'm going to make this work with this, I'm going to cut the top bars off, cut it in half, cleanly get the chrome pipe cut off of this so both ends are clean. And just like with the trike, I will have that up in there. So top gone, proper measurements so that when this is aired out, it'll be hopefully on the ground. I don't think I'm going to get the front on the ground. I know I'll get the back on the ground. I don't think I'll get the front. I'm still laying out. That's still pretty cool. But yeah, so the proper size pipe, clean it up, maybe paint it, make it work with this pipe. I have to actually cut after the top, cut this in half, cut the hoop in half, and then widen it out. So I'm not screwing around with this thing with how expensive it is. I'm actually going to go and get some chromoly tube to properly replace the chromoly tube I'm cutting. No, I'm not just going to throw some old pipe in between this. This costs too damn much. So I believe, yeah, it's Saturday. So Monday, Pro Steel's open. Going to go there. I got to get chromoly. I don't need much. I need like a 4-foot length to replace piece I'm cutting. But as you guys can see, for roughly $400 Canadian, like it's a nice, for a mini bike, this is a gorgeous front end. Like, and it's going to work. It's going to work good for this purpose. So yeah, that really is what I'm most excited about and the most daunting task, because so much money just went into this. And I knew the whole time I was going to cut it in half. It's like, oh, it hurts. But that's where we're at with that. The front end issue has 60% been solved because I still have to do 20% more work. And then the electric side of it is still gotta be done. But that I'm never going to find it now. I just thought of it, the hub for this thing. So the front hubs on this bastard were meant for a 4x4. So they have the holes for the axle, but they obviously have the pivot points for turning. But I'm going to be using the front hub so I can use the same rim. I'm going to use the rims on the back, because I'd have to switch up the rim on the front if I'm switching up what I'm mounting it with, because they're 4x140 in the back, which only 70 or 80 Subarus had 4x140 and Saabs. So just finding a pair of 4x140 rims, it's not happening. Not unless I can drop 1,200 for a real JDM set, but I'm not going to put those on this thing. I want also solid rims. This like solid would be better, and I can get the Suzuki rims, which are solid, pretty easily. So I keep saying so. I'm like a fucking politician. So with that, the front wheel will be mounted to one of the original front hubs, and then through that front hub, it will be driven by the electric motor. It's kind of the only way I can get to that, right? But that will give me mounting points off of the motor. Once the motor's mounted into the hub, I will have mounting points off the hub to mount it to this whole thing. Because I got a lot going on over here with brackets that I can re-weld to. I can get some chromoly plate and actually just make it work. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that'll be it. That'll be pretty much the front end. We'll worry about the electric part when this part gets done, because it would be stupid to just keep on adding to the list. And now that I know what direction we're going, I don't need to fret anymore about like what we're doing. See, I told you guys in the very beginning we'd be doing this one at a time, and all my life turned into was an absolute mess and confusion. So here we are. We got everything. We got a plan. This is really the most attackable thing, because it doesn't require moving on to this. Because once I move on to the frame, that's where I got the air compressor, the exhaust to the turbo, which that's super easy, because like I said, the exhaust goes to where the muffler is, and that's where the turbo is going to be. So it's a no-brainer to put it back there. The tank and stuff, that's all once I get everything really fitted. I don't have to redo the shocks even until I go to paint them when everything's done. So the front end, that'll be, and I've said this before, but that will be the next thing. I got all the supplies needed except for the chromoly, but I don't need the chromoly to start working on it. So sorry if I sound tired, guys. I literally have been exhausted for a month, but I'm getting back at it. As you guys can see, I got a lot going on. Just cleaning stuff up, decorating. Got, if you guys can see it up there, hang on. I'm gonna run over to the camera. You guys can't see it up there. I'm changing this. So, you got, it's my Uncle Derek's painting from 1979. You guys have seen my Uncle Derek's work, believe it or not, and then you got the drift trick going on over there. So you guys have actually seen my uncle's work, because if you guys have seen Deep Blue Sea, he made the shark look reel that killed Samuel L. Jackson. If you guys have seen the Star Wars Clone Wars, he made the robots look real. He's been around a lot. He worked on the original Star Wars and everything, yeah. So I got weird ties in my family. Like Dan Marino's my fifth cousin twice removed. It's just weird. Who can say a sentence like that? But enough personal stuff on me. So we got a plan of attack. When this video comes out, I will already have gotten the grinder back out and started hacking away at this, because I feel like I'm coming back. I'm ready to do this again. And I wanted this done for Trike Fest, and I feel like if I haul my ass off, I'm still not going to make it. So at this point, it's just going to be whatever I can do, because I don't have an excuse of not having the parts or the tools, right? So that's going to be it, guys. That's the update. Might be a long one. but the next one's going to be work. And if the next one's not work, unsubscribe from the channel. This is pretty much it, because I got no more excuses, right? The last one was a pretty good excuse, but now I'm out of excuses. So that'll be it for this one, guys. Thanks for dropping by again. Hopefully see you guys soon, and hopefully you guys see this thing right away here. So peace.